Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot to switch on the PowerPoint. So where were we? Here. Yeah. So today will be I want to achieve two things. One is to push forward a tiny little bit detail of the HSK level. One. The other things that I want to still push forward a little bit about the like choose your adventure sort of a story telling, and because yeah, I got some plans for this, so it's just some interesting experiments, and then I'm off to coding and as well as the financial stuff. I got a very full schedule today, so hopefully yeah, we can achieve all of the results. Hopefully, I finger crossed. Right, so let's get started by where were we previously? Okay, so yeah, let's continue. First, I'm going to make sure that everything is fine. Let me check the yeah, where were we? Yeah, here. Let me quickly check the streaming. Okay, seems is okay. Let me check the audio quality. The audio seems I can hear something, which is a good sign. Okay, so okay, seems all right. So good. The audio quality is good. So let's push forward, and hopefully we can achieve all this thing. I got a brute tons of coffee, but I don't feel pretty well today, so I might not be able to finish everything that I I set out to do. So yeah, but I will try my best, right? Yeah. So yeah, I'm already pretty old now, so I can't like be as a like athletic young man, like do all sort of amazing stuff, and if my body is complaining, I'm just going to stop. Right. So let's continue. Right. Let's continue. Let me put it there. Okay, so let's continue to learn. In Chinese, there is a special phenomenon. We call that 儿化音. In English is retro flex final. So basically, you say something and add the final at the end of it. You add R. Okay, R is, as the English name suggests, is retro flex. So retro means like back, and flex is like curve your tongue a little bit. So retroflex. In Chinese, it's called 儿化音. Okay, 儿化音. Right, and for 儿化音, you can sort of treat this as a as a phenomenon of some accents. Okay, as I said, Chinese do have tons of accents, and because Chinese got tons of accents. It's become really hard for people from different parts speaking different accents because China is like a really huge area, right? So it become really hard for people to understand. Okay, so this sets a standard version of Chinese using based on the northern accent. So northern accents, especially like Beijing, Tianjin 等等, they got some sort of this 儿化音, okay, and things they're setting that as a standard for the 普通话, right? So in let me just write it down, okay? So 普通话. Okay, so basically that's the accent that I'm trying to teach, right? So 普通话. Okay, so 普通话means that average, normal. Okay, average 普通 average guy, average neighbor, something like that. Neighborly Spider-Man. Okay, that kind of thing is called 普通, 很普通, very average, normal, meh, something like that, right? So 普通话 means that this language, this kind of way of speaking is pretty 普通, right? And they use this northern accent as a sort of standard for the modern Chinese pronunciation and call that 普通话, and then sort of educate and put forward, say, for example, in TV, announcer, radio, and all that, everyone speaking that kind of accent, sort of populate these accents. So when they go to school, when kids go to school, learn this accent so people can better understand each other. Right? So that's 普通话. But remember, we're talking about this 儿化音, right? 儿化音 if you look at the HSK, it says 汉语中的 r 可以和前面的音节结合成为音节，成为儿化音。汉语书写时表示为汉字加 r， 拼音书写时在这个汉字拼音后面加 r。例如 ，Yeah, I don't know whether it is a bad explanation or it's just me that I normally I don't want to look at the official the curriculum version of explanation because it's just just too much. Okay, for me, I think 儿化音 is that when you learn certain vocabulary, you just know that it can be at a r at the end, and it feels good. It feels like northern pronunciation. You just need to understand that. And there's like no specific rule to add, but don't overdo it. So when you learn a certain thing, and I say, well, it can add r at the end, you can not add. If you don't add, that's okay. All right? So, but if you add wrongly, r, you adding r everywhere, that is very bad. Okay, especially people from the north will think that they being like laughing at it. You're intentionally mimicking their pronunciation, but you do that badly, or you are pretending that you're from the north. Okay, so you don't want to do that. So for me, I just remember when there is a thing, you add r at the end to just for for a certain pronunciation. Okay, so let me quickly go through all this example for you. Okay, first I want to see the average neighbor, something like that. Yeah, that's volume is good. So let's look at the HSK textbook curriculums, the retroflex finals example. Okay, so 小 small 小小 right, small 还 this is 子 right, this is 子 like the sum, and then 还 right, 还 so 小孩. 小 means small. Look at that, how small it is. Small kid, right? So small, right? So basically, that's kind of you can sort of treat this as a 小. 大 is like a person doing I'm so big. This become 大, right? 小 and 大. So this is like small. 孩 is like the kids. So small kids. You combine two similar things together, and it just it's just some phrases that is sort of fixed to express one thing, right? So 小孩. But as I said, when you learn 儿化音 retroflex final, you just know that this is just at the end of this. This is 小孩. We can add a R at the end, then it becomes 小孩. Okay? Then it's just become more northern and then more relaxed, more comfortable way to say 小孩. This 小孩. Just if you feel that, I want you to feel this language. Is that when you say 小孩, you're like pushing. It's like British English. It's like British English. You're pushing everything to the front of your mouth, something like that. It's not like American English that's really relaxed. I'm really terrible at American accents, but I got like a pretty mixed accent. But you got that idea, right? So when you try to relax, it's more like you going like relax your muscle of the mouth, and then you come speak like this, right? You speak really like this, really relax. So you sort of a 小孩. This is like a British English 小孩, and then 小孩, 小孩. You do not like push this 孩 forward, but rather you just say 小孩. Okay, so look at that. You just pinyin, you can see higher, right? So basically, if you like pinyin higher, and then you just add this as a 儿化音 pinyin. Okay, so at pinyin you just add R at the end. For the Chinese characters, you just need to know, well, for this 小孩, you may say, what about like adults, right? Can I say like 大人, 大人? You technically, I think you can, but nobody's speaking this way. So that's my suggestion. This is more like a 锦上添花的东西. That means that it's already pretty beautiful, and you want to add a flower to it. Loosely translated is that you without R, without the rich reflex final, everything still is fine. But some of the words, some of the phrase expressions that can add R, but not a must. Okay, it's just a 锦上添花. It's just you can do that, adding that, add a flower to a already pretty good thing. Okay, so 小孩. Okay, so no 大人, right? 小孩. Okay, let's continue to finish with all the examples here. So, for example, we can say like 小鸟, 鸟, 小, small, 鸟, bird. Right, look at that. It's kind of like a bird, right? Like a bird. Like a bird, huh? So 小鸟. Okay? Yeah, it's kind of like a bird. So 小鸟, small bird. 鸟 is like a bird, right? But you can also say 小鸟. Okay? So remember how to add R, just add 小鸟, right? 小鸟. That R is added as a relaxed retroflex final. 小鸟, 小鸟, 小孩, 小鸟. Okay, I'm really bad at northern accents, but you get that feeling is like really relaxed and even a funny way to say 小鸟,小孩, yeah, something like that. Okay, so that's also especially I think this is pretty northern Chinese accent. So you go out, you go to restaurant, that's餐厅, but like northern way, I think it's called 饭馆, but I don't think this is widely used, especially we call that like 饭店酒店, right? But since it's already appeared in the HSK, yeah, I'm going to stick with that. But I want to give you some of the, other similar, but not like to textbooks the sort of thing, right? So 饭馆, okay, 饭 rice, okay. You eat rice, that is you eat meal. That's how important rice is to the Asian culture, right? 古碗馆, okay? 饭馆. That literally means there is a room, there is a establishment, there is a building that for rice. So basically it's like rice building, 饭馆. But you adding R, 饭馆, okay? 去哪儿啊？去饭馆儿。Okay, that's pretty uncommon, to be honest. I feel that maybe I'm live at the central China, and I normally don't I didn't heard this. If you're from northern China, maybe you heard this, but we more likely to say something like this. Okay, let me just get you a new slide so I can type things. So here, so let me show you. We're more likely to say 餐厅 or 酒店 or 酒店 is more like somewhere to, it's not for drinking, but rather somewhere to live. Well, you can live here. It's like hotel. 餐厅餐馆 餐馆 okay, it's more like this. Okay, and so let me just write this. Okay, so instead of say 饭馆, this is I think I usually say that, right? 在外面吃, right? We can even say 在外面吃. 在外面吃还是在家里吃啊？今天 ，OK， 外面外面吃 is like eat， 外面 is like outside， 外人外面外国，面 is like face outside face， it's like this is the face of the object. This is the face of the object. And outside the face, that's just outside, that's 外面, right? 家里, 家 is like a home, right? 家 里 is like inside, so it's like here. This is called 里, right? 家里吃外面吃 里. Okay? So, yeah. So when you refer to like you're like eating, go out to eat, you just 在外面吃，今天晚上我们在外面吃 right? So yeah, and of course, I think this is widely used 餐厅，这是今天晚上吃饭的餐厅 right? I think it's more natural rather than 这是今天晚上吃饭的饭馆儿。Maybe some of the northern people say this, but I think this is more widely used. So, 餐厅餐 is like 餐 and then this is 右 and then 食吃东西食餐 is like you eating, right? 厅 is like a hall 餐厅 so eating hall that's a place when you eat or 餐馆 is like a eating like a building place. Okay, 饭馆 is more about rice rice hall, rice building, but I think 餐馆 is more widely used. Okay, just expand your vocabulary. And also in the curriculum, you will look at something like this: 香 smell good, 香水 fragrance, 香香水啊义务语 right 香水香水儿香水儿香水儿 so it's not 香水儿 right? Because if you look at that, it's like r 化音 right? 香水儿 o right? 香水儿 but not that, but just r 香水儿 right? 香水儿 So the pronunciation have a little bit nuance. You do not read out loud each of the character, but rather you just combine the last two. 香水儿 right? 餐馆儿小鸟小鸟小孩儿 right? 小孩儿不是小孩儿 no 小孩儿小鸟饭馆儿餐厅儿yeah I normally don't say that 香水儿 yeah let's stick with the HSK curriculum example. Okay, and by the way, as I said, all of this 儿化音, all of this retroflex final sound, you can omit that. You can say 香水, that's perfect Chinese. You can say 饭馆, that's perfect Chinese. You can say 小鸟, that's perfect Chinese. 小孩, you can even intentionally get rid of R sound. That's also perfect Chinese. Acceptable, perfect, and for some Chinese people, maybe they think that you're less pretentious, you're more, you're if you're a foreigner, right? You don't usually faking accents, right? But if you're Chinese and you are not from the north, but you add all this R, at least I know some people who will feel offended that you're faking it, right? You're pretending from Beijing, something like that. Okay, so yeah, that's about the retroflex final in the curriculum example, of course. Yeah. So let me add a tiny little bit more because 儿化音 can also change the meaning. This like does not change meaning, but there are some scenarios that change meaning. I think it's also very important, and also want to add that. Okay, I got some phone calls. Okay, it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, I got tons of phone call per day, and And normally I prefer to use like male because um you can have more time to really think about it and schedule it. Um, like phone call is pretty intrusive. They break the flow, and yeah. Okay. Okay. Hello. Gugunuk. Okay. In your opinion, what's the trickiest part of Chinese language to get used to? Well, I think the trickiest part is the memorization of all these characters. Because you know because the characters represent a meaning, but have nothing to do with the pronunciation. And um, I there's a research that I can't like repeat the name because I read somewhere. It's the like the research of the pronunciation change of the ancient China as well as the modern Chinese pronunciation, and it's completely different. And but if you look at the character, the character is unchanged because the character represents the meaning, and the pronunciation do change because of the accent of how people say it. So yeah, so basically the pronunciation got nothing to do with the character. It's like two separate systems, so that's the reason. And to be honest, the pinyin, this thing is it's like a modern invention. It's not like originally there, right? It's kind of like a mixed version of English character as well as a tongue. So it's kind of like romanization of this language. Uh, and this language, like characters, got nothing to do. You can't find any hint from the pronunciation, then you know how to write these characters. So I think, and in like everyday life, And if you look at, if you say you learn English, you can look at like Hollywood movies and TV series, YouTube videos. You turn on caption and everything is good, and you can pick things up. But if you're learning Chinese, even though you switch on the closed caption, you can only see all these characters and pronunciations, and it got nothing connection. There is like no, for example, phonics, um, some English rules, like phonics rules. You learn that and you can understand everything. I think in Chinese, you have to memorizing each of the characters, and then remember the combination, because that's the phrases. And then there's like 成语, which are like 4 words, like combinations that represent a certain story and then represent a certain meaning. And then, yeah, it's just, I think that's is 小 formal or informal? I don't know what you mean. Is 小 formal or informal? This is just represents small, right? Small. 小 and because it's kind of like a person that's pretty small, right? And 大 is like big. It's like a person pretty big, like, yeah. So yeah, so I think that's a tricky part. So for example, for English speaking people to learn, say, Spanish, it's really simple, I think, because you learn this like, or the alphabet is almost identical, and then the pronunciation is just you look at that and then you know how to pronounce it, right? But for the Chinese, if you look at the character and you don't know this character, even a native Chinese look at some really difficult characters, if they did not know, they did not know. But they can sort of feel that meaning, because you got some, for example, you got some 偏旁部首. For example, this is like a person's eyes, right? So if you got this attached and you combine this with something, right? For example, something like this, you can sort of know, because it got here, and this is the eye, similar to the eye. So if you don't know, this is called 明. That's like shining, 明亮 or 明天, or like. But if you don't know this, you look at that, you don't know how to pronounce it, right? So if I cross this out, you just look at the character, you don't know how to pronounce it. But if you look at the left side, you sort of know, oh, it's connected to the eyes. So this character must be connected to the eyes. So that's sort of a thing. You look at the shape and you understand maybe it's connected to a certain thing or some meanings. But if you just look at character, you don't know the character, you don't know how to pronounce it. Okay? Oh, I mean, 小 is similar to the example of hi to hello, like shorthand or slang version. Yeah, I think this is not a hello. This is like small, not hello. It's more like a hi, good, something like that. Is maybe you are mistaking the 小 with the 你好, right? Maybe it's this 你好. Maybe you're mistaking the 小 with 你好, right? So 你好 is like a 2 character. Like 你 is like you, 好 is like good. So it's like you good? Yeah, but 小 is like a small. So it's a completely 2 different thing. So you can guess the word's meaning based on the two combined characters. Yes, sort of guessing, but sometimes really hard because it's a kind of inferred meaning. For example, you look at 你, right? So left side is something like this. The right side is something like this. And if you like decompose this, it's something like this. And then, so this is 小, right? This is like small. This is similar to 人, so it's like 人, person, like people, right? And this is like a knife, right? So it's become really hard to understand what heck is talking about. But for 偏旁部首, you can look at this. So maybe it's connected to 人. So you can sort of infer, well, this character, if I don't know about 你, you, which is pretty basic character. But if I don't know, but I know 人, and I sort of can infer the meaning of this by just look at this. And so, well, maybe this character is related to a person. And it is related, but we can't know it's you, right? Because this just don't make any sense. Like small and a knife, right? Like a small person holding a knife, and then it's you. It doesn't make any sense. But you can make a story out of it to help you to memorize things. So yeah, for example, this 好 like a good, right? But you decompose this as a this and this, right? This is 女. Right, this is like a girl's, right? You can sort of treat this as a, right, like a girl's, right? Like a dress, something like that, right? And so the left side is a girl, the right side is 子, right? It's like the song, and then basically a girl and a song, and you combine that together. That's good, right? That's good because you got a girl and you got a boy. So we call that like 儿女双全. That means that you got a both son and a girl. You got a boy and got a girl. So that's a good life. So that's sort of inferred meaning rather than like a pure like you know, like one side, and then you understand everything. But for language learner, I think this is a very good opportunity to use this method to make a story, so you can understand why this way, as long as that story makes sense, and you can connect to that story with the characters, and then you're good to go. Yeah. And then once you made that connection, you can understand the character, you know the character, and you know how to pronounce it, and then you can move forward. But if you think about this, you have to do that every character, and Chinese is like every character. So I think that's the hardest part of learning Chinese, because you have to memorize so much of the characters. And it just takes time, just like any other language. 一个好 is a character. What would 女and 子 be? Well, 女and 子 also is a character. So sometimes a character is 独体字, like single component character, which we mentioned earlier. So for example, this is like single component character, 女, right? So it's like a girl. This also single component character, like 子, right? So single component is just that, you can't decompose this to smaller parts. It's just an integral part. So we call that a single component character. And all this, let me just get rid of this because I don't want to confuse you. So let me change the color. So this is single component character. This is single component character. Okay? But you can also combine these two together to form a new character. Okay? And this is also a character, multiple component character. And so this will be 好. Okay? So this is like 3 characters. Character 1, character 2, and character 3. But we can decompose the third character into 2 characters. But that's different meaning. So you can say, for example, like girl only school. So you can say 女子学校. So, for example, this is like character 1, 2, 3, 4. 学校 is like school. This is like 2 character, right? 女 and 子. That's girls' school. But if you can combine this together, so 1 plus 2 combine this together, you write that as a 1 character. 好学校. That's different, right? So this is character 1, character 2, and character 3. So 好 means good. 学校 still is school. So 好学校 become good school. So like a lot of parents want students to go to 好学校, right? Go to the good school, like a private school or something like that, right? Yeah. But this is like a completely 2 different meaning. One is the girl owning school. The other, right? The other is good school. Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense, because you can decompose like really complex character into different character, but that does not necessarily mean that decompose the thing is not the character. They can be character, they can be just a partial character, and can have a meaning, can have just a nonsense meaning, and yeah. All right. Yeah. Hopefully that clarifies things. Yeah. I'm like recording things live for this like my bootcamp. I got like a bootcamp on Udemy, both in Japanese as well as Chinese. So let me share this for you. So yeah, you can check it out, because this is like deeply discussed. So with a character like how, spacing is how you can tell the 2 sentences apart. Yes. Yeah, you can sort of say that, because, for example, let me just write another. For example, if you write 好, right? If you say 好, you want to write 好, it's more about this. Okay? You can sort of feel that, because this, you're not writing 女 this way. You sort of screw that a little bit and make that a really tiny part, and you can see the difference. For example, this is like really slim and tall. It's not like something like really squared. So for kids who just start learning writing characters, they're going to write it in 田字格. This is like 田. This is also a character. 田. 田字格. Okay, so basically it's just like a 田字, right? This is like a 田字, right? Like a 田. And when the kids start learning Chinese, they're going to learn how to write it here. Okay, so basically, if they want to write 女, they will write this way, right? If they want to write, say, 子, they will write this way, right? So basically, one character will take approximately the center and take approximately the same space up, down, left, and right. Okay, that's like a single character. But if you write 好, it's a distinguished difference because this will just take a half of a space, and it's screwed. It's more slim. It's something like that. You compress that, you make it taller. Yeah, exactly. You compress character, and then you more screw that a little bit, and then here something like this. So first is the size, the second is the compression, and a little bit of change. So yeah, so basically kids, when they learn how to write, they need to practice in the 田字格, and then they need to recognize the different proportion inside of this 田字格. Oh, so you compress the characters together when they get more complex. Yes. Yeah, compress characters together to form a more complex character, and that's just one character. And yeah. So we talk about like our 话音, we can say like let me choose a different color. I don't want to use the red. What? War, right? So 玩, war. Okay, that's just play, right? So yeah, if you look at that, it's also like you can decompose the left side and right side into two things. The left side is something like this, right? The right side is something like this. Okay, and then this is also a character, left side, right? So that's called Wang. Wang. Okay, so if you look at the tiger, right? Tiger got a Wang at the forehead, right? So that's the reason we call the tiger the 百兽之王, the king of all beasts, right? And of course, it's also a very famous family name for a lot of Chinese, like Wang. But I think for English speaking people, it's more. Yeah. They read this way, but they're like Wan. They pronounce this way, like a wan, and then it's add a G, so a little bit nasal sound. And we told me a lot. We get you bootcamp. Will you get your bootcamp and be here for another live lecture? Get a bootcamp, yes. And see for practice. Yeah, thanks. And practice. I think you don't need to worry too much about how to write. I think the first step is just to recognize and get the basic down. The first is get the pinyin down. So basically, you know how to pronounce. And then just get yourself familiar with the characters. And I try to make the bootcamp following the rough outline of the HSK, which is the like the standards course, like this, right? It's like a more structured course, but some of the like the parts I'm going to add so much more because I don't think the text preparing material is a good written, and some of the conversation is just too like academic and not like spoken Chinese. And so get the pinyin down. Let me just get a different color pen here. So first is get this part down so you know how to pronounce, and then recognize this, and then learn a little bit about language points so you know the phrases, and then just conversation. Yeah, that's my suggestion. Also, I try to add like a more immersive and interactive because I work as a programmer. Okay, this is like a, side gig for me, right? It's like a labor of love for me. So I use a interactive like choose your adventure Dungeon and Dragon sort of thing, like called Twine, and we write things and more interactive. So I want to add more immersive material to into the learning experience. So yeah, just then the rest is just practice. So that's my practice tips. Yeah. So let me drink some coffee. Yeah. Okay. So I think my delivery is nearly there. Right. It's like got like 10 minutes. So yeah. Uh, I think that's all for today's stream. Yeah. Thanks for good 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 nuke for joining the stream. Okay. And thanks for the support. And hopefully I can see you uh, next day. I think I tend to do that daily, but I have to divide time between the coding, also work in finance industry, right, and also the Chinese and Japanese bootcamp. I got like a two bootcamp streaming going on, so I tend to do that like one day Japanese, the other day is Chinese, something like that. Yeah. Thanks. Bye.